My people, it is Wednesday Wisdom. Hope you're taking care of yourself, practicing self-care, making sure that you are okay before you go off and save everybody else in the world. So today, I'm sure my title caught your attention. Is there a better version of yourself? You know that my channel is about all things healing. And so oftentimes we hear people say, as we are healing, we are creating a better version of ourselves. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how that can be true and false. Okay, when you talk about ascension and spiritual awakening, your spirit is coming online. You're getting in divine alignment. And it could have been that you've had things that happen in your life to bring you in divine alignment. Sometimes if there's some sort of loss, if there is some sort of shakeup in your life, sometimes if there is some sort of pain that you've experienced, a traumatic event, it will push you toward opening to a spiritual awakening, because you understand that within that spiritual connection, or that connection with the Holy Spirit, that there is a level of peace that comes along with that. Okay, so when we are healing, we are in touch with the Spirit, and we are ascending. We're going higher. We're going into higher dimensions, grabbing that spiritual knowledge and that spiritual revelation, so that we can apply it to our lives. And let me throw this in here: a rejection of religion does not necessarily mean that you are spiritual. I'm going to say that louder again for the people in the back. Rejection of any sort of organized religion does not automatically mean that you are a spiritual person. Spirituality bears certain attributes. There is certain things that you take on, whether it be spiritual practice, whether it be certain rituals that you do. And for some of you that don't, they get squeamish about the word ritual. Ritual is not a bad word. When you get up in the morning and brush your teeth, that's a ritual. Okay, so back to the regular scheduled program. All right. When we understand that we're coming into a place as a collective of higher spiritual knowledge and maturity, it will make it easy to transition on your ascension journey. And that requires a lot of healing and transformation. And many times there will be people brought into your life to assist you on that journey. It's up to you whether you reject or accept that person in your life at this time. But whether they are there or not, the process is going to continue. So you pushing them out or not accepting them in does not necessarily stop the process. The process will continue, because remember, I say this to you all the time, you are chosen for something greater than this. Okay, greater than your healing, greater than all of your trauma, greater than all of your experiences. Okay, so is there a better version of yourself? I think I would shift that statement. I would have to say, instead of saying I'm becoming a better version of myself, I would have to say I'm becoming a more complete version of myself. Because look at it this way. I'll use myself for an example. There are times in life where I've had a very toxic nature, just by virtue of my environment, what I grew up around, what I've been exposed to, the behaviors that I had. Okay, so there is a toxic me and there is a healed me. All of them are Kelly. Okay, all of them are Kelly. And when you understand that all of them are you, not only are you integrating, so I'm becoming a more complete, you're integrating. What you're doing is you're healing that part of you that was toxic, but it doesn't mean there was never a toxic you. Okay, and you're coming into the more spiritual version, or the more spiritual you, which takes on those attributes that love, forgiveness, compassion, nurturing, those attributes. You're integrating them in regards to, I put it this way, you're integrating them. It's kind of like alchemy. So you're alchemizing those two yous, so to speak. Okay, so there can't be alchemy. Alchemy is a chemical process. Why am I talking about a chemical process? Because ultimately your goal is to get to a place of freedom so you can feel better. You can experience more peace. So you can have more of those dopamine hits. Serotonin hits, okay? You're not going to have it 100% of the time, but that's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to get to a place of better well-being. All right? And better well-being is a good thing. Not necessarily a better version, but better well-being. All right? Because you're integrating, you're using alchemy to integrate it. You're alchemizing. Is that a word? Alchemizing? Every part of you. The part you don't necessarily like, the part you love. Okay, you're pulling it all together for a more complete you. The reason you need to integrate that part of you that you don't necessarily like is because it's attached to the lessons. And you keep the lessons so that you don't keep repeating the bad habits or the bad patterns. All right? Okay, I know you're following me here. Okay? So we want to make sure that we're not putting so much pressure on ourselves to become this better version, when in actuality you're just becoming a more complete individual, okay? And even when I say more complete, that's not even to say that you're shattered. But what it means is we lose parts of ourselves with trauma and toxicity. We fragment ourselves, so to speak. We fragment our attention. And so what that alchemy does is that chemical process of healing pulls it all back together again. Okay? You want to make sure that as you are healing, as you are moving toward higher knowledge of how can I exist in this earth plane in a peaceful well-being, how can I shift my entire aura to attract those that are good for my well-being, not those that bring in the chaos, not those that bring in jealousy. Because as long as you're vibrating at chaos, jealousy, drama, people like that are going to continue to show up in your life. All right? As long as you are vibrating at self-centeredness and stubbornness, people like that are going to show up. If you are a manipulator, you're going to be manipulated. Okay? If you have a player mentality, you're going to get played. Okay? Because you're going to draw that into yourself just by virtue of where you're vibrating. So if you're wondering why these people have shown up, you can't say you don't know how they showed up. There's something in you that needs some attention. And it very well, some of the things could very well be ancestral. Something that has come through your bloodline that may not have anything to do with you. Then there are some things that you've actually fed into. Arrogance, ego, pride. If you feed into those things, people like that will keep showing up in your life as messengers. But sometimes you don't necessarily know that they're a messenger and you fall victim to their tactics. You become them. And it takes divine intervention to snatch you out. Okay, so just a short video today on Wednesday Wisdom on alchemy, becoming a more complete version of you, healing, and recognizing that you got to do more than reject religion to be spiritual. You need a spiritual practice. There needs to be relationship with the spirit so that you can get the messages You need to be able to move to a healthier spiritual and emotional well-being, and you want to achieve a higher level of peace. Listen, I love you, and I want you to love yourself more than me, and I will see you next time. Toodles.